Okay, this is going to be the first episode in the series about how to make a supercomputer. And when I say supercomputer, I don't mean the quantum one. I mean we're going to make an 8-bit computer that has full ALU capability, so it can and or it can shift, it can multiply, divide, whatever. And then we're going to have a program counter with good jump abilities, so we can make a computer that can do more functions than simply adding and subtracting, because now 100,000 of y'all got the basics down. So now we can move into more complicated circuits and binary solutions. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. And this episode is going to be part one. And it's going to be also part one of the ALU. Since the ALU is now a massive circuit, we have to break it up into either 2 or 3 videos. And this is part one of it. And this is part one of making the super 8-bit computer. So we're going to roll the intro, and then we're going to get right into the simulation. Thank you for watching. So I had a comment the other day that said that the other computer that I made sucked and they wanted a better one. So that's actually not what they said, but that was basically the whole gist of the meaning. And he wants me to make a computer with a more capable ALU and then a program counter that is jumpable, so we can do more advanced logic, more advanced coding, and we can code different programs into it. And we're not so limited to just adding numbers and subtracting numbers, although that is pretty cool. But we are going to make this new project right here. So we're going to call it Super CPU. Okay, so this is going to be a series, not a full hour-long video. And we're going to start from scratch. So we're going to start completely from scratch. If you're new, a beginner, just so everybody's on the same page and we know how this all works. I'm going to fly through kind of the little intro stuff pretty quickly, just because I made so many videos about this, but I will explain a little bit how it works. So first off, NAND gate. This is the only gate that you need to make a whole functional computer. And basically all it does is, if both inputs are on, the output is off, and that's all it does. But we can turn a NAND gate into a NOT gate or an inverter if we hook up the input to both of the inputs in the NAND gate. So we're going to say this is NOT. Make sure it's as small as possible. Okay, and then if we take the NAND gate, put the NOT gate right up in front, we get an AND gate. Both inputs are on, the output is on. Take the NAND gate, 2 NOTs, and then 2 inputs and output, just like this. We are going to get another type of gate, which is the OR gate. So the output is on if either or both of them are on. So OR. And then if we do it again with the AND gate, we get the NOR gate. So the output is on if both of them are off. If either one is on, the output becomes off. So NOR. And then we had the cool gates. The XOR gate. Man, I completely messed that up. So if either or are on, the output is on. If both are on, the output is off. The XOR gate in the name fools OR. And then we delete this, we get the NOT gate, then the output. And there we go. So now we have a XNOR gate. So if both inputs are the same, the output is on. And then this is all the basic gates. Okay, so now let's make the adder. So in order to make an adder, we need to make a half adder, then a full adder, then we can make the full 8-bit adder. This will be an 8-bit CPU. So we can do more stuff with it. Half adder is pretty easy. You need and an XOR gate, 2 inputs, and then 2 outputs. I'm gonna put this one above. I kind of screwed it up a little. So we have this, yeah. So if each of these are different separate inputs, we have 1 plus 1 is 2, and that's pretty much all I can do. But this is the half adder. And this is sum and carry. So go in the preferences so we can turn on the name of our pins if we want to. So 2 half adders and an OR gate will create a full adder. We need 3 inputs now, and then we need 2 outputs. Yes. There we go. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And it works. So this is the full adder. So now we make a new chip. And then we can make a full adder, so we can add 2 8-bit numbers. And then with a little bit of tweak in the circuitry, we can make it a subtractor and an inverter and a comparator. So that's what we're going to do in this one. This episode right here is solely focused on making this super ALU, this ALU that can compute lots of different things depending on what we want it to compute. So that's what we're going to do. So we take 8 of these full adders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. We need a little bit of margins. These are 2 8-bit inputs. And then we need an 8-bit output, just like this. So the carry from one is going to loop back around to the carry to the other one. So they're all chain connected. Let me do this too. Oh, let's go to preferences real quick and straight lines. We always want straight lines. Okay, that's all of them connected. And then we're going to have to connect these up now, just like this. There we go. So now we're going to connect the, let's see if we can do this. Yeah, connect the A's up with the A's. Just like this. Oh, wait over here. Okay. Okay, so now whatever input we should have from this should correspond to the exact same from the output. Nothing really special, and that's exactly what we see right here. So we know it's working pretty good right now. Yes. Now, before we do anything with this one, we need to connect some XORs up to it in order to get a working subtraction mode from it, enabled from it. So And that's exactly what we're about to do. There we go. Okay, so now if we take the inputs of both of these, we should add the numbers together. So let's see. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. 7 plus 2 is 9. 7 plus 3 is 10. And yeah, so it looks like it's working pretty well. So we got that done in ALU way. So now let's hook up a little subtraction module right here. Yes, but before we do that, we're gonna make a little saver, so we can, one input can decide if we want to save it in subtraction mode or if we want to save it in addition mode. I do not like the way this wire looks. And we'll get more in detail about what this circuit is. It's an SR latch. So, but we don't really need it necessarily too much for this video. Oh my gosh. So if we want to go in subtraction mode, you might imagine all these XOR gates must be turned on. And the carry output from over here also must be turned on. Because as you can see, all of them are on kind of right now. And then we got to invert it, just like that. And I missed one up here, so. Cool. So now let's say we have 2 minus 2 is 0. And if we have 6 minus 3, gives us 3. But we can also do negative numbers. So 3 minus 4 will give us -1. And this is how it represents -1, which is kind of a complicated way, but we can see on here that that's how it represents it. And I'll give you all a little basic tour. So this is still 1s, 2s, 4s, 8s, 16, 32, 64. But this is, instead of this being 128, this is now represents -128. So if this is on and the rest of them are on, that equals up to -1 if you add them all together. So this is called the signed decimal output, I guess you can say. And then this is the unsigned, which is probably what you're more familiar with. But we're going to work in signed sometimes if the program requires us to work in signed. And so let's see this real quick. So -1, we have an add mode, we get 7. Subtract mode, we get -1. So that's 8. Perfect. That's exactly what we are looking for. Let's see, this actually might be a decently long video. We're going to get some of the stuff done in the ALU. We might actually only get halfway through there. But this is by far the most important part of any ALU, is adding and subtracting numbers by far, because you can multiply with this, you can compare numbers with this, and that's what we're going to get into right now. So first of all, we need a little bit more outputs. Okay, we're going to hook up this carry to this output, and this is going to be our overflow. Our overflow output. So if the number outputted is bigger than 8 bits, this is going to light up, and it's going to let us know, like, hey, we can't really compute this, it's bigger than 8 bits. Okay, next we need an output for if this is 0. So if the output is 0, we need this to light on. So we're going to do this with a whole bunch of OR gates. and then one NOR gate at the end. Oh man, I don't know what happened. So if it's not 0 now, it turns off. Beautiful. So that works right there. And also with subtraction, you can compare numbers. So add this one. So we're gonna just hook up this last bit right here to this one, and this is gonna be our negative pin. So if this one's lit up, we know, and we're in subtraction mode, we really know that this is a negative output. So we're going to light it up. So this is going to be A greater than B, and then B greater than A. Oh, actually, I'm not going to lie, that was the exact same signal. I'm kind of dumb. Okay. Good. So now we can compare numbers so we can see which one's greater, and then we can. So for example, a prime example of this, let's say the numbers are the exact same. And if the numbers are the exact same, we want to jump from one program to another. And we can do that now. We can hook these outputs up directly to the control unit, make some more logic, so we jump depending on what the numbers are. And this gives us greatly more function than anything else that I've made in the past, really. So we're going to do the little greater than with this. So let's see if we can do this for a second. Okay, this is exactly how we're going to solve this. Hook these AND gates up. So first off, we have to be in subtract mode. We can only compare numbers in subtract mode. So we're going to have just a little bit of logic to make sure we are in subtract mode. And then notice, so let's say if B is greater than A, the number is negative. So this number is high. Wait, no, my bad. It's this one. There we go. So B is greater than A. But if it's the opposite that's true, it's not negative. So we can quite simply just, wait a minute. Yeah, so pretty much we're going to XOR the 0 right here and the overflow. And so this means that A will be greater than B pretty much if it's true. I mean, that's because the overflow out here will be high on subtract mode, because that's how kind of subtraction works. But if the numbers are the same, that means the 0 output is high, which will activate this XOR gate, which will turn off the signal to the AND gate, so we don't get like a judgment of whether the numbers are the same or not. And so this is the little logic that I'm going to use to have this. We're going to save this. This is going to be I'm not going to call it ALU. We're just going to call it add sub. So we have a new chip. Now we can kind of see how it functions. We can add numbers, subtract numbers, and then we can see what the numbers kind of are at a glimpse. And so in the next episode, because this one is already very long, we're going to look at how to do AND to numbers. So if we want to do we're going to look at how to do logic gates to numbers. So pretty much we're going to have a multiplexer within this adder, and then we're going to decide whether we want to AND the numbers or XOR the numbers, NOR the numbers, or the numbers, not the numbers, inverse the numbers, and stuff like that. And we can see what they are and control what they can do. But, oh man, that's gonna be next episode. This one's already, like I said, pretty long. But thank you for watching. Please follow for the whole series, because this is going to be how to build a supercomputer where we can do different stuff. And I really hope y'all like it. Description below, we're gonna have the link to my shop if you want to buy my circuits or help the channel out, and my Patreon too, where you can get a more direct access to talking with me, and also help the channel grow. But that's all the selling I gotta do. I'll always put at the end of the video. That's it. Email me if you have anything you want to email me about, and that's it. Thank you for watching.